I actually talked to a buddy of mine this morning that got the PPP loan. And he said there wasn't even really any closing document. He said he just pretty much got funded. He might be mistaken, but he said he just filled out the application and he just got the money pretty straightforward. So I'm not sure how that works out.
Well, there's documents behind there that he had to sign, okay? And it's different from, it depends on who your lender was. So PPP, the lender is actually the banking institutions. So it could be your bank, or it could be other non-financial institutions like Cabbage or Blue Vine or other people who aren't typical banks, but they're money lenders. So each lender has their different documentation in there. Some are 20-page long and some are literally 2 pages. So the document itself that you're signing can be really short. Let's put it that way. It makes it feel like this is weird. They're giving me $200,000. I'm signing something that's 2 pages long. But what's happening there is that 2 pages is referring to the SBA. And it's saying that you're agreeing to what this SBA is saying and what you can use the funds for.
Got it. So how can you make sure that you don't have to pay the PPP back? Because that's the unique characteristic of it, is that if you spend it the right way, you don't have to pay that money back, right?
It's a $1 million question. It really is. And it's important. And this is where there's a lot of confusion, Ryan, is that there are strict guidelines and that those are being updated. The last one came out a week ago Friday with guidance from the SBA on forgiveness. We expect that to change in the next week or two, or there's legislation looking to change how it can be forgiven. So right now there's two major categories that you see out there. There's a ton of detail in it, but I'll give you the major overview. Is that right now as it's written, and again this is as of today at Thursday, May 28th, it could change tomorrow, is that once you receive the PPP funds, you have 8 weeks in which you need to spend that money, okay? You need to spend at least 75% of it on payroll. That means actually paying W-2 employees, not contractors, but W-2 employees. And then you can spend 25% of it on things like rent and utilities, okay? There's other parts of that affect how much you can have forgiven. Some of the big ones is the government wants you to maintain the number of employees that you had pre-COVID. So if you had 10 employees in January 31st, in order to have the full amount forgiven, you need to have 10 employees now, or 10 employees when you ask for forgiveness of the loan. If you don't, you can't have the full thing forgiven. So if you had 10 employees and you only have 9 employees now, you can only have 90% of the loan forgiven. The rest of it becomes an actual loan. So it's really important that people understand how you can use it, the time frame you can use it. There's a lot of what they call full-time equivalents, which means, hey, taking a bunch of part-time employees, converting them into a full-time equivalent of that. So it's something that you need to be careful about, and that legislation is changing. There's a lot of legislation asking to have that time frame move from 8 weeks to 24 weeks. Is that going to happen? I don't know, but it could.